welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets, More Muppets Please, a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with a series of spotlights on our favorite Muppet characters, from fan favorites to the most obscure. I'm this week's host, Ryan Rowe, and the Muppet of the Week is Penny Waxman, performed by Leslie Carrara-Rudolph and designed by Paul Andraco, making her world debut in 2023 on the Muppets Mayhem. And my guest for this episode, well, I don't think I could ask for a more perfect guest to talk about Penny Waxman, because she's the legendary Muppet performer who brought Penny to life. It's Leslie Carrara-Rudolph herself. Leslie, thank you for joining me.
I don't know who Leslie Carrara-Rudolph is. Did you make an appointment to talk to me, Ryan?
It's
there's
Penny.
A weirdo. There's a weirdo blonde lady. I don't know. She's dressed like a fourth grader. She's got wearing her hair in pigtails. She's got a dog licking her ankles, which is kind of weird. But anyway, I'll get her.
Okay.
Ryan wants to talk to you about me, and I'm happy to step in for any kind of facts. All right. Have a nice day. Gee, sorry about that, Ryan.
Wow.
I just thought we could check with her in case we got anything wrong.
Yeah, no, this is great to have Penny standing by for fact checking.
I'm not going to be standing, Ryan. I'm going to be reclining.
Okay, to have Penny reclining for fact checking. Well, see, there you go. So already she's fact checking me. She's correcting me. Good.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's important.
We can even start with the fact that Penny, her debut was reclining in a chair.
Well, yeah, actually, I do. Yeah, I do want to get to that.
That was no easy move. People.
Yeah. Okay, well, we can start with that. I actually have that. So her first appearance on the series is, and by the way, yes, thank you for joining me, Leslie.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. And I was going to say later, if you hear a bark, it's not Tango, it's Benny. So.
Oh, yes. Although, I mean, who knows? There's always a chance that we'll hear Tango barking too. But Penny's first appearance is in the first episode, just a few minutes in, and there's this big moment when Nora goes to her office at Waxtown Records. We see the back of Penny's chair first, and there's this big dramatic moment. She turns around in her chair. And until that moment, I think a lot of viewers might have thought maybe this character would have been a human character, or you just don't know. And then there's this big reveal. And it's not only a Muppet, it's this brand new Muppet character, and she kind of doesn't look like any Muppet we've seen before. Or
act the Hutt in drag, maybe. I don't know, with a cotton candy wig.
Yeah, her hair looks like cotton candy. She doesn't look or act like any other Muppet we've seen before. So I guess, I don't know if there's really a question in there that I have, but just like, were you anticipating the audience reaction in that, or just, I guess, do you have any memories of shooting that first scene, her introduction?
Oh my gosh, so many. Although the whole thing is so layered, so I'll try to like peel back the onion a little bit, because when we auditioned, and I might have said this before, when first of all, the design of Penny was, like you said, like nothing I'd seen before.
Yeah.
And it was love at first sight. I was just like, oh my gosh, like as a female, comedian and writer and, character person, I was like, this is such a dream for a female. And then just reading her bio, and I was like, oh my gosh, I live next to Penny. I made a Queens originally. And then just the bio and the scene, because the scene was so well written. I mean, the writing was so great on that. It was really character driven. And so the audition material was rich with Penny's history.
Okay,
right?
So they gave you a detailed description of her whole character, her personality.
And there was and it was one of those things where, like I said, it was so well written that it was almost like a treasure map of all these key elements. And the fact that she, that she discovered, the Electric Mayhem, she named them. In our audition sides, when I read that, like, I'm the one that named them, my childhood blew my brain. Like if somebody said while I was watching the Muppets movie that years from now, you're going to play the character that named the band.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I immediately projectile cried, and
Wow.
so from the very beginning, I thought, okay, the sides were, for my audition, my husband read against me, right? And I
Okay.
had a puppet that looked nothing like Penny. So it was all in the voice and all in the delivery. This is the layers of character, like how she felt the minute you said, "What? Are you kidding me? Do you know him? I burn, my loins burn." Like it was written so rich with levels of her personality.
Yeah.
So I read for it, and I was just like, then I took the picture and I put like a little, like I built an altar to it. I was like, I've never wanted a character so much. And then I shared with you before we got on that I found my character journal from 96.
From
And
your
the
Muppets Tonight days.
Muppets Tonight, I took pictures. I had pictures of all the female Muppets, and I did a character journal. I wrote backstories for all of them. And on the very first page is Minnie Goldberg, which was in the Pierce Brosnan episode, and it was a character and has the same body type, right? She has
Right.
shades on. She's wearing a gorgeous dress. It was lame, gold lame. She's a big, strong female. And
Remind me, does this character speak on screen in the Pierce Brosnan episode?
briefly,
Okay.
briefly. So I had kind of fallen, that was one of the characters from my journal. And when we were going to pick up characters to be in the scene, to fill out the scene when they were in the gambling area,
Right.
Jerry had seen me interact with this puppet and doing it. And then you set the puppet down, you step back, and it's like seagulls at the dump. People go and pick out which character they're going to do. And I was like going right towards it. And then Dave Goles picked it up, and
Uh,
I just sank. My heart sank. And he had no idea, but
right.
Jerry had been watching me, which I didn't realize. And he goes, "Hey, excuse me, Dave, Les and I have been working on something together." And he had
Oh,
a male character, and Dave's like, "Oh yeah, okay." Like he was like, "I'm just gonna have fun."
yeah.
And and then Jerry grabbed me, and we were the couple right next to Pierce Brosnan. And what that meant is when you're setting up the scene and you're standing and you're checking angles, Jerry and I were improvising as this couple. We've been married, blah, blah, blah. We were going
So
back
you
and
had a
forth.
whole backstory for this couple who's just kind of there in the
In
scene
the
with Pierce
first 10
Brosnan.
seconds,
Right.
like, this is wonderful, whatever. And I was just like, I know this woman. I am this woman. This woman's been present in my life. Um, and so for me, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Minnie Goldberg. It's
So
who.
that
And then
informed
the fact that
Penny.
Adam Goldberg, I was like, I
Yeah.
showed this page to Bill, and I said, this is 27 years in the making, Bill.
One of the creators of the Muppets Mayhem. Yeah.
Right? So when I got it, and you're just looking at this character thing, and then we had another callback, and it was like, I think it's called a chemistry test,
Hmm.
which I'd never done, but then Bill was on that one, and we went back and forth. And then the director was there, and he goes, okay, can you pull it back a little? Can you make it less angry? Can you make it this? And it was really great because you get to show that this is a real character. It's not a voice. It has all these different levels and stuff. So that was really exciting. And then when I got it, Bill says, how soon can you get out here? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, there's something you should know about this puppet.
Yeah.
She's big. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
And I thought, well, she's probably the size of Dr. Teeth, right? You can't tell from a drawing.
Right.
You think like, oh, well, Dr. Teeth is a pretty big size puppet. And I've done bigger puppets before. I've done Big Mean Carl's like Carla, I've done different things on Dr. Seuss. I'd been
So
at
those are maybe the largest puppets you had done up to that
yeah,
point.
well,
Yeah.
Abby at one point she was a triceratops in one of
Oh
our things.
yeah.
It was like puppeteering a sofa.
Okay.
It's giant. So you just kind of, but I'm really, I'm a physical comedian, so I'm pretty
Hmm.
up pretty strong. So I go, okay. And then when I get out there, I was like, oh my gosh. And literally I was out there 4 days later and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And she was still being like worked on, originally. I think I'm thinking the palette was more like a beaker palette where it's your thumb like
So
and
you're demonstrating moving your thumb to
straight up
move her mouth?
her mouth. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that would have been a lot harder to and so they had to reconstruct her mouth so she was like this. And
Oh,
then
okay.
she is basically, plus he said bring your puppet shoes. Well, my puppet shoes make me 6 feet tall, right?
Okay.
So imagine I'm 6 feet tall, my arm is up over my head, my hand is in her mouth, right?
Right.
That's 6 feet. But then add another foot with her forehead, with her hair and everything. So Penny's like 7 feet tall.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's 7 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
And then she's sideways. And then Bill's like, we're gonna, and then Tim Lagasse was trying to figure out, they were trying to figure out the weight. So Tim was trying to, he goes, Lele, and Tim and I are like brother and sister. Like we are the same, we're the same goofy. You're like, why did your mom give me away? We're just buddies. And we've been buddies since Dr. Seuss.
Huh.
And he's like, Lele, let me try to help you with this. And I had Bill Beretta's backpack. Well, I am short-waisted and Bill is long-waisted. So his backpack, I was like, this is crazy.
So when you say his backpack, is this?
So what it is like when you have a really heavy puppet and like from dinosaurs,
Mm-hmm.
the big, the character that Kev did. Oh, please help me with
The
this.
baby?
No,
Or
not the baby, the big one. I want to say Lionel, and it's not. It's like a huge.
BP Richfield, the boss?
Yes,
Or yeah?
yes.
Okay.
She's big as BP Richfield,
Okay.
right?
Which
So,
is, yeah, that's a huge character. That's a good comparison.
right. So basically, we had to have a backpack, and there was a metal pole, and the metal pole went into Penny's like back hump
Mm-hmm.
or back hump,
Right.
and that balanced the weight, so I didn't have to take the full weight onto my character. And then they were like making the hair, the they were balancing, like Jane Gootnick, who I absolutely love because she was there on Muppets Tonight, and she's like, okay, I'm so glad you got this, Les, because she knows my history and she knows that I was going to put the work in, and she was really like, you just got to nail this. You got to nail this. And I'm like, I'm going to nail this. I'm not going to, I'm not going to lip sync this. Somebody's not going to do this. I'm going to nail
Right.
this. So we had a couple days to figure out the weight distribution and everything. But here's the key. We never got her to see her on camera.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So we were looking in the mirror to see how it was going, and we were supposed to, and Bill said we need to push, like originally they were going to shoot her the first week, and he's like, it's too hard to throw Leslie in because they have been living with this. Imagine this, they've been doing script readings, they've been table reads. I was thrown in. I read as much as I could about Penny, and also this, I had to have a chest monitor. I'd never had a chest monitor before, ever.
Huh.
So, and a chest monitor, because it has to be small, is about, I don't know how to make that, like, wait, 6 by 8, I can't, it's small, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine just seeing that, right?
Right.
It had to be 4 up because they shot the wide shot and close-ups at the same time, which meant it split the screen into 4. So
So you're seeing multiple camera angles at the same time?
I'm seeing 2 cameras angled
Oh.
at the same time in tiny little squares, right?
Oh, wow.
And I had to memorize my lines because even though I could put my lines up literally on the inside of Penny's stomach,
Yeah.
but I had to like focus. And so on Sesame Street, it's a 3-camera live switch, right? And a lot of times we do our close-ups separate so we can just focus on that. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a backpack puppet. I'm in my tall shoes. I'm seeing a chest monitor for the first time. I'm a brand new character and everything's 4 up and I'm seeing two things at the same time. And then when I got on camera, there was something interesting. I was like, why is she not? She had a smirk because I was forcing her neck was slightly off.
Huh.
Right. It wasn't slightly when you sew it into so I had, in order for her to be centered, she had this little smirk. And I go,
Yeah.
no, I think her neck needs, he goes, there's no time to change it.
Oh.
So my first time on camera and my first scene was that.
Is it that first scene with Nora?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then add this, right? On top of this. Then they put me in this big chair, right? Oh, and it's a live hand, right? And not
Right.
everybody can fit in the hand. B. Lanoyle, who we met on Muppets Tonight, and they have been my friend for, 27 years. I've known B as long as I've known Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I said, B, I want you to be in here. Because he knows me and he knows my work ethic, and he goes, okay. And then Bill was there. Like, the way I describe it is like Bill was my Burgess Meredith to my Rocky Balboa. Like Burgess, he was
Okay.
like, you got this, kid.
Yeah.
So Bill, like, he loved this character, and Bill's puppetry is very subtle. And he's like, keep her real. And he was in there like, make sure we know her weight. He goes, "Yes, you have a lot of energy, but this is be authentic with her body and everything." So he is such a great actor. And, even through Muppets Tonight, he would give me like little things like, hey, you're a cow, you're backstage, and you're hungry, and there's a lot of paper up there. And he'd walk away, and I'm like, I think he wants me to eat paper.
Okay.
So he was awesome. But he said, we are shooting all your scenes in the first 3 episodes on your first day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The first time you've ever seen your puppet on camera.
Yikes.
And it was hot, right? And for her to lift her off. So a lot of times I just stayed in her line. I'm like, I don't want to.
So you're kind of trapped inside Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like when you are with the group, and this is where I totally can relate to Carol Spinney and Oscar, you're in this own world. Other people get to take their puppet down and look at each other in the eye and interact with people. And the guys, they were so focused on their own thing, they didn't have time to help me, And for me, this is a brand new character. So it was like being drafted, and your first time up at bat, and you have to hit a home run.
Yeah.
And you have to knock it out of the park. There's no other options. You can't strike out.
Right.
You can't do anything. And, all your scenes, which require huge setups, like behind the desk. And then the scene where, and then later it's the scene where that day was her lying on a couch eating hot wings, right? Her toenails done. Same thing. My arm is like, I can't take her out. I'm stuck in a couch.
Yeah.
So all these things were like really hard puppet stuff in a really big puppet. And I was like, I can do this. Oh
yeah, no, that sounds overwhelming.
I couldn't, so I had to go, I'm like, B, can you give me a drink of water? Like, there's no place. I'm like, next time I'm going to get a cup holder in my thing. And
yeah, that's a good idea.
So that first move, right? Then on top of everything, that first move is there's this chair. So you have a prop person on the fake back of a chair, right? That has to swing the chair around for you and stop it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's not Penny moving the chair on her own. Right. There are more people involved.
Imagine I'm standing in the puppet with my left hand and right hand. I can't see the camera. I'm going to have to do a blind. I'm going to have to hit the camera focus, completely blind, make contact. And it's not just me. There's 2 guys on either side of the chair swinging with me. And then there's B on my hand coming around with me. So there's 3 people with this. And I was like, well, I'm definitely going to look like I'm carrying weight because I'm literally pulling 3 men with me.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot to coordinate.
And I look and I have to like, you and it was like, and I had to, and then it zooms in. I'm like, God, I was like, I'm going to be
Oh
fired again.
no.
It was a nightmare. But it was so excited because I was like, you know what? I'm 100% present. And then I have all the Muppet Workshop who's like, we're still trying to figure out what it is. And he goes, why is she smirking? And I go, well, it's off a little bit. He goes, we don't have time to adjust it. Make it a character choice. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay.
Did they adjust it later?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
absolutely. But I had to keep the choice, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
she had to have this, like, yeah, whatever. And I was
Because
like,
I
oh, it suits the character. But
right.
then my Muppet nerd self was like, they're gonna judge me and think that I wasn't, It was like,
Oh.
but you know what? I didn't have time for that. I mean, this is where the Jerry Nelson in my head, was like it's the character. Like your character will see you through. Like
Oh
I was
yeah.
terrified, but Penny wasn't. And
Right.
then, yeah, so I hit it. My first scene was with Bill. Bill was the whole reason that I was a Muppeteer. So everything in my life, like honestly, in that moment, like it was epic. And then later, like, I think the compression socks was that day too. And Bill and I were laughing. The outtakes on the compression socks when puts her thing and like she likes the squeeze. I like the squeeze.
Yeah.
All those things. There was so many. Bill and I we can make each other laugh so hard that it was just so worth it. So yeah, that move was everything to me. And and on top of everything, I didn't get to go to the any of the table reads. So
Wow,
no,
yeah, that's
right?
kind of crazy, yeah.
Right? So
So you really got thrown in.
I got thrown in, and it was the first time those guys had heard my voice, seen the character on
Yeah.
screen and everything. And you're just praying, am I going to get directions? Are they going to like
Hmm.
me? Are these all things? There was so many elements of that. And I think also that day we shot where she's walking in and like the Nora's schmoozy love interest comes in. That was also that
Yeah.
day. So I was just meeting everybody for the first time, but I was in a capsule. I was in a Volkswagen
You
Beetle.
were isolated from everybody
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
And the good thing is that, I had the Muppet Workshop was my pit crew.
That's
Like
nice. Yeah.
I had Timmy, I had Jane Gootnick, I had Stacey Weingarten, I had Russ, I had oh my gosh, please, I'm gonna get all the names wrong. Of
And everyone else.
yeah,
All
no,
the other names.
they were, but and Jane was really like she was pro Leslie because she knew how hard what it took for me to get here.
Mm,
And she knew that I wasn't going to, like, it's not about me, it's about the work. It's 100% about the work,
sure.
and it's 100% about this character. So they were with me. And like I remember going, Stacey, I'm so nervous and I'm split focusing, and luckily, the camera shots for the close up and the wide shot were really close because, and then Penny has these eyes, so for your close up, it's a millimeter adjustment to make it look good. And
Mm,
so Stacey, I go, Stacey, will you watch my close up and make sure it looks okay? And then I had to just trust because Bill was like, there's no way he was gonna, I had to trust the director that if they said they got it, they got it. And we
yeah.
had to move on because we had a long day and I didn't want to be the one that was going to hold him up because
Right.
you know how you do a shoot, there's a 12-hour turnaround time. So the later you
Yeah.
go, the later you start. And so I'm like, I'm not going to be that person.
Right.
So
Wow.
I stayed in my puppet. But that one movement, it was like a whole life flashed before me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
She does spend a lot of time, especially in the early episodes, behind that desk or behind some tables. But is it harder or easier to perform her when she's not sitting behind a desk?
She's about the same.
About the same?
A
Okay.
lot of it is the angle of your actual body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what was a difficult position for me physically is when she was laying in the couch, because what happens is it takes like a setup to show her whole body, her legs and everything, right? And you position, and then they have a hole in the couch, right, that you put your arm in.
Right.
And then, so imagine I'm at a bug. And then if the camera, like, then you have to, your hand only moves a certain, depending on like who you're looking at. This
Yeah.
in here, it could be very painful,
Like
right?
you're limited by how far your hand can move one
And
direction
what
or
your
the other.
shoulder can do and everything,
Yeah.
right? And then you're up on it's everything's elevated. At one point we realized that the the leg of the couch was really near the edge. So
Ooh.
if I adjust myself, I could have snapped my arm. Like
Ah.
it would have been gone.
Yeah. Yikes.
But everybody's getting everything up. And then you have to stay in the puppet while they adjust everything. So you start the scene with no blood in your arm.
Ooh.
And then you're like, I'm just gonna do this. And so I think that's where there's just a part of you that, like I said, you don't think about yourself. You just think about the character.
I guess you just can't. Yeah. Wow. The average Disney Plus viewer has no idea what you're going through to bring these
No,
characters to life.
no, I really wish that we could share behind the scenes stuff. I did like when, like, one of my favorite scenes is when she walks in and it was like the party with all the lava lamps and everything there, and she walks in with these hot wings and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. She's in this long thing. I loved when you could see her full body.
Right.
That was just such a feast. And I remember like saying, look, she is not going to be an angry clown, a fat joke, or a stereotype. She's going to be a strong female character. And she's just gonna, and I really am grateful that Bill and Adam Goldberg, and Jeff Yorks, and the writers, everybody involved, allowed her to just be that and not be, I'm like, no, she's not going to have barbecue sauce on her. She's going to have one
Mm.
little dot on her face that nobody has
Yeah.
the courage to say you got something. What?
Yeah,
No.
she feels more, it's always exciting to get a new Muppet character, and there's never enough new female Muppet characters, and she kind of just feels more like a modern comedy character than
Yeah.
a lot of Muppets. So yeah, I guess, did you feel like you were creating a more fully fleshed out character than some of the classic characters, or was that something that was on your mind?
I think in terms of storytelling and her importance to the story, and she was written so well. I mean,
Right.
she was a love spurned, Dr. Teeth is the love of her life.
Yeah.
She came out, she found the band, then he took off. So when she sees him, I hate you, you know, and it was just like, and then also there was like being able to be real with it, because to me, comedy is character driven, right? So when you
Hmm.
have a good character and you have good writing, there's not a lot you need to do. Yes, I wanted to keep her real, but Bill was really like, I think B got in trouble with doing too much with her hands.
Oh, huh.
So if you notice that I don't eat on screen. There's like I hold her finger up with the hot wings, but she doesn't actually eat in front of people. The only time I eat, like they had all that stuff with barbecue, and I was like, I'm not gonna
Hmm.
make her like messy.
Right.
She eats the hot chip thing, and
She
she's
does the
like,
hot chip challenge.
this is hilarious.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. And that scene was hilarious. I had a later call, and I think a celebrity or something, the schedule changed last minute, and they called and they go, you have to come in right now and you're going to do the you're going to do the hot chip scene. And I'm like, what? And I went straight in, and they go, get to set, get to set. And I was, oh my God, you know, and like I said, I had to make sure I was memorized. Like I would go over my scene over and over again, because I didn't have the luxury of putting up my lines. because I had a tiny little screen and everything.
Right.
And so Bill was like, what? And I go, he's like, wait, is that what it says? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, Bill was spinning so many plates as the
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
theater and stuff. So, but when we would get to improv, oh my God, it was so freaking hilarious. So yeah, I just made sure that she was, and also fueling it is during that time is when Roe versus Wade was overturned. And I talk about this a lot. And for me, people who know my history, what I'd been through in life has not been great, and as a female, unwanted, things happened to me throughout my life, and also being a survivor. And so for me during that time and coming out of COVID and being this strong female character and have to be able to say, shut up, all of yous, like be able to like, listen here, like I'm in charge of, I can make or break you, like I have the power, not you, I do, and even though she's a self-made woman, right? She built this business herself. And of course she's championing, Nora, because she was like, I don't want to like her, but I'm going to tough love her,
Yeah.
And so I like, for me, I just treated it like everything I could possibly imagine. And it was really, and the women on set, the set designer, my friend, Ariel, she made this beautiful picture painting of Penny. The women were like, Penny, and I was so happy that the women they loved her, they were
that's
like,
great.
Bring her on. And so I felt super magical, and I know that sounds so corny to say magical. I felt like a unicorn.
Yeah, it does show the need for female characters in general, and especially strong female characters in the Muppets. Yeah, definitely.
I had to be mind, body, spirit strong. I had to be physically strong, had to be mentally strong, and spiritually strong, because I was like, I'd waited for this moment for so long, to be able to do something. And then I was super, honored. Like, she was a series regular. She was a 9 out of the 10.
Yeah.
Like, Bill was so great. And he goes, I'm sending you something. And when they put my name in the title, I was like, what? Like, what? Like,
Right. Well, yeah, you're in the opening credits, of every episode.
I just was like, is that really happening?
Yeah.
And so I mean, and plus I got to be a team effort. Like, I worked the entire series. I was very excited. There was so much beautiful puppetry on there. I was a nervous wreck whenever I assisted Matt as Floyd. I would send Paul the music, the bass that I had to do, and I would make him do it for me. So I would make sure I did it. But then I go, Paul, it has to be backwards. Like, I'm doing it from the front.
Right.
So he would do it, what it would look like from the front and what it would look like from the back, and I was just like, and because the guys were like super, and they're beholding to these characters that are, anytime you do a classic character, it was fun to assist Eric as an animal. And I love it because Eric and I have a huge love for physical comedy, but also there were times where I was the one like small enough to fit, when Animal was driving, I was the one small enough to fit in the front to pull off the steering wheel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was the one that pulled off the tooth, or you're doing, you're simply have a monofill that's lifting up a case. I mean, there's such wonderful puppetry on that show that you just are happy to be anything. I'm sure you have more questions about other scenes.
Yeah, you mentioned something about the scene in episode 2, True Colors, when Penny's in a wheelchair.
Oh, geez. Okay, that was hilarious. So a lot of times, so Jane Gootnick, who, like I said, I knew for Muppets Tonight.
Right.
And Jane, when I first was hired, she says, she goes, ugh, why is she here? And she watched me the whole time. And then when I showed her this, when I remember in Muppets Tonight, I showed her this character thing that I did.
Mm-hmm.
And she loaded up all those Muppets and said, go get them. I'll get those up. You put them on, you pitch the writers. Sadly, we had already been canceled. And it was the last 2 weeks that I finally got my chance to pitch my ideas. So it was brutal, but I did it anyway. So she was like, hey, come over here. We got to figure out how you're going to be in this wheelchair. How do you want Penny? All this stuff. And I was like, okay, so I'm in this wheelchair and Penny's in the wheelchair and with my legs up and everything, because I have to be pushed out, but it's her feet or her feet. So I'm
right. So, because Penny we see her entire body physically in the wheelchair and Nora has to push her in the wheelchair. So
and also a guy the guy had to push me out the window. I think his name was Frank because I'm pretty sure his name was Frank because I said that's my brother's name, and I felt like my brother in heaven's name is Frank, so I felt like my brother was saying hi to me, like I got you, like I'm watching you, sis. You got
nice.
So he would push me out. And then I said, wait a second, there's no room for the monitor. And then I go, Jane, you know what would be really funny is if they wrapped her glasses. It's such a Muppet thing.
Yeah.
Notice that they have bandages over her glasses.
Yes, her entire face, like there's a little opening for her mouth to move.
That's it.
But other than that, her entire face,
and
including
I said,
her glasses,
it's ridiculous. Because you would take her glasses off. Right? It was like such a Bunsen honeydew thing. So that was
exactly.
That was my nod to Bunsen. And so I go do it, and he goes, "That's funny." And I go, and so Jane would pitch it, and we go through Matt. Bill was our puppet captain, so he would say yes. And so Bill would come and look, and he goes, "Les, I don't know where we're going to put the monitor," And I was like, because we were trying to see if it could be my stomach. Nothing fit. Because it was this, Ryan. My chest, there was no room. I was in a ball.
So you're up like
this.
Just bunched up, sitting in your chair with all your arms and legs held as close to you as possible.
And then my arm was stuffed until we landed. And then I was able to look at a monitor because the way they shot it. But I said, well, Bill, technically she can't see anyway. Right?
True.
So I'll just do it without a monitor. I can't see. I'll just rely on
right.
So
because Penny can't see where she's looking.
I was literally blind. I was literally couldn't see my performance. I had to freaking pray that I was going to be okay, but I knew Bill was watching, and there's no way he was going to make me look bad. And he would go, move your finger just like a little bit, like a little bit. I go, are you giving me finger acting? It was like, but he would just keep it real. His main thing was like, keep her real. And so when I got there, and I was memorized, and it's one of my favorite scenes at all. It is the most, you'll fake it till you make it. Are you kidding me? No. You think I got here because I wasn't, I was true to self. Like, I don't lie to yourself. It was such a it's my favorite speech, although I can't do it now, but that to me, if you pick a speech, that's Penny, it's that speech.
Yeah.
Because she's telling Nora, like, no, you got to be real. Don't lie to people. Don't lie to yourself, and do it because you love it. And then she goes off in La La Land. I'm like, she's high on drugs. She says this really intense scene. And then they let me say whatever I gotta go. I see Elton John on a unicorn. I gotta go. Madonna wants to borrow my cones. I'm still just like, it was one of those, I would love to hear the outtakes. I was just making stuff up. Bill would go, say this. So
I wish we could see all this.
I'm like, give me dollars and I'll say what you want. But so I was blind through the whole thing out there, and then I said the speech, and then there was one point where Bill's like, okay, let's give her a monitor for this so she can kind of see it and put somebody's hand in there. But it was that was really hard. I'm not gonna lie. That was really
I can
hard.
imagine.
And then what's hard is that I had all my scenes with Lily, but I never got to look at her in the eye. Like I never,
Oh, yeah.
there was no like, hi Lily, but she was like, oh yeah, that's Lily. Like, and she had so much responsibility, right? She's here's and she's flying on the weekends. She's doing 8 million other things, so her focus was
Oh.
right there. Um, I got close with Sarah because I love her so very much. She's just everything you want her to be.
Hmm.
She's in the Lightning Thief now, and I haven't seen that new part of
Oh,
it.
wow.
She's amazing. Anders was nice, and then yeah, everybody was really great. The whole cast was great. You know,
Nice. That's good. That's what you like to hear.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but I was just saying, like, I didn't really get,
Yeah, that's too bad. Like, 'cause you're just staring at the monitor the whole time.
yeah. So, and then she's rushed to the next thing. I was like, good job.
Yeah.
Hi, I,
Oh, and she's gone.
mm,
In episode 9, Drift Away, there's a moment where Penny is using one of those old-fashioned exercise machines with the band jiggling her. Was that how'd you do that?
oh my God. Okay, I take that back. This was really hard. First of all,
Okay.
it was really hot, right? On set, and I wasn't properly hydrated.
Oh.
Okay. So okay, the way we did that, and this is going to be hard to describe to an audio.
Yeah, I can try to describe
Okay.
the
So they
gestures that you
had,
make.
so what they did was, Penny's hand, was, she's on one of those, bands where she has to vibrate, a vibrating band around
Right.
her waist, and she's full body, right?
Right.
So they're gonna not see her feet. So this is where we came up, and this was Bill Beretta and Jane Gootnick and I and the props department. So they found one of those things, and they had to figure out how they were gonna do it. And I was like, what if like I have my hand, am I because I have an assist, and what if we pin her long calf cans to my actual legs, right? And I
Hmm.
would move my legs like this, and that
Oh.
would cause movement for the lower.
Okay, kind of like you're just jogging in place is
Yeah,
what
but I
it
was
looks like you're
sitting.
doing.
So I was sitting and I was moving my
Okay.
legs that would make my lower body move. And then the band was moving. And then I was talking like, I have to tell you like this. So then you have to physically, so your diaphragm is doing these like short breaths
Right.
to make it so again, I had to be memorized.
Yeah.
And then, they go in for coverage.
Oh,
So the whole thing, like short scene, but then they go in for coverage, and then they have this, and then they have this, and you're going,
so you have to keep
and
doing
then
it.
stop, and then stop and start, and then we can't hear you. And then if they does
Uh,
come back, and we ended up having to go back and loop it a little bit because the scene was loud, right? Because of the thing.
oh, with the machine, yeah.
Yeah, so I did get to go back and go, which made it even more fun. But I just had to do that to myself, and they ended up. But I wasn't hydrated, and when I got out, I passed. I blacked out.
Oh no.
I didn't. I was sitting, so I came out, and I just went.
Ooh.
I was like, I think I'm gonna faint. I think I'm gonna faint. And everybody was there, like, okay, let's
Oh,
get some air, get some water. And I remember being very anxious about and excited about that scene because Bill had to shoot something on the other stage,
mm-hmm.
and so he left. He trusted me, like, so
Yeah.
that was a big deal because he was just so, you have to understand, like, between Bill and Kevin, though they really, and Brian giving me my first job, like, it it's such a long way from where I started, where I didn't even know how to hold a puppet up, and
Sure, right.
know I didn't even know that world existed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know, when I started Muppets Tonight, there was no YouTube. There was
Yeah, right. A
there was
lot
no
fewer
there
resources.
was no social media. There was no workshops. There was a workshop once a year only given by the Muppets that everybody, it wasn't, there was the book of Muppets of Men, but I didn't like, I mean, I joined the Puppetry Guild. So I learned
Mm-hmm.
about puppetry from the artistry point of view. And then I learned on set by just sitting on set and watching everybody do everything.
Right.
watching Bill do Bobo. And, I was like, I can do this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I love that character so much. I miss her so much. You can fit like 50 Abbeys in here, but it's like having a really good villain. You don't get a character like that doesn't come along very often. Well, I mean, they do in my. What are you talking about, Granny Todd? They
Yes, your
play
own
it,
character, Granny Dot.
but on a scale where everybody's on board.
Yeah.
I mean, I most of my work nowadays is in schools and on stage. I'm a live performer. That is my favorite thing because you get the instant energy exchange,
From the audience, yeah.
right? And I'm on set. To me, I'm such a goofball on set, and I'm always entertaining because it's, you only live once a day. So, I mean, Abby's always ad-libbing. I can't say in this interview, but Abby got to sit in a super famous movie star's lap. Like,
Oh,
this is
so
going to be more awkward for you than me, and stuff. And
maybe people will figure that out when something
I think
comes
they
out later.
will. But a lot of it is that for me, like, okay, so Cookie Monster and Elmo, those are iconic. Bert, Ernie, the majority of the world sees them, they know their character. But when Abby came on, she was like, she's cute, she's pink, she's a fairy. And I'm like, she's
Yeah.
funny. She's Gracie Allen meets Daffy Duck meets Barney.
Hmm.
She has her, like, so if I'm interacting or doing stuff in between, I'm trying to make people laugh and get them comfortable and getting to know her. Like when she was first out, I would do lots of improv because the hosts, unless they had kids or grandkids, they didn't know who she was. You would know the
Right.
Cookie Monster, these characters, right? So
Right.
it was like that for Abby, but it was like that for Penny. It was like you have exactly 2 sentences to make people like you.
To establish this new character, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I was gonna bring up, a lot of your characters are mostly very upbeat. Abby and Tango and Velvet on Elmo the Musical and Penelope Penguin and even
You think
Spamla
Penelope's
Henderson.
upbeat? Oh, thanks a lot.
But and as we've been talking about, Penny is more like she has a lot of different emotions, but she kind of has more attitude than some of your other characters. Was that kind of a nice change of pace for you?
Yeah. Think about it. It's like Carol Spinney, right? Oscar
Right, as being
and
able
Big
to
Bird.
play
Yeah,
the
she's
happy-go-lucky Big Bird and the Oscar the Grouch.
yeah. What I love about this and I love about the writing, I was super excited about that. She starts grouchy and angry, woman spurned, and then all of a sudden, from the moment she gets those compression shocks from Dr. Teeth, you can feel like a part of her feels seen again. Like, well,
Yeah,
remembered this. But like every character, they just want love. Every character
right.
wants to be seen in some way. And so she goes from being very negative and grouchy to the fact where oh my God, I wish you could have been in the recording studio when she was doing the Yoko Ono thing.
Oh, wow.
And there
Yeah.
was a lot of like, and she's wearing this black thing. We're doing this. Like once they lean into them as a couple, Penny is all in. I mean, when they go on that cruise,
Yeah.
she's like, woo, she's like, let her rip. I packed this, you see their luggage is a whole, by the way, we shot that at the Queen Mary. It was freaking them.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
The,
nice.
yeah, the Kristen Shaw episode it was on the Queen Mary. It was in a boardroom on the Queen Mary.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
so and then she gets there and she's finally getting to go away with her sweetheart, and she sees that she realizes that I'm going to make this sacrifice again and I'm scared, like I want him to be happy. And it's really sweet because she lost him,
Hmm.
got him back, and she has to let go again, you know, and
Yeah.
that to me was just like, yay on the writers for letting her have that. You know, it was an interesting show in the sense that, you know, everybody got their origin story and the things like there's so
Yeah.
many touching moments. There's times where I'm like, God, this is really beautiful. Like I think everybody in the cast made me cry at least 3 or 4 times.
Sure. Yeah. And all the origin stuff also still felt true to the characters, which is, it's kind of a balancing act because if you're gonna do that, you want I don't know. I think it would have been easy for the fans to go like, wait a minute, that's where, that's how Floyd and Dr. Teeth met. But everything they did, I think the fans,
Those guys are so dedicated to the work.
right, that's the thing.
You know
Yeah,
darn well, like the fans need to know that they are fighting every moment for the heart.
right.
They are they know that they're stewards to a legacy, and they got your back, fans. You know, you may
Yeah,
not like that, but you know darn well that they went back and forth, 3, 4, back and forth until they got. And if it didn't had to be compromised, it wasn't compromised without a fight. You know,
sure.
I know for one of the things that really I felt, this is such an obscure thing, but when Janice gets sick because she's allergic to lies,
Yes.
I love that so much. That is brilliant writing because that's how I am. I am
Oh,
allergic to lies. I'm allergic to schmooze. I'm allergic
huh.
when I can tell when somebody's not being authentic.
Just phoniness. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get sick or I get anxious or I don't feel right. Something's not right with
Hmm.
me. And to me, I think that was so poignant. And everybody comes to like, what's wrong with her? And no one likes to be lied to. No one likes to like,
Right.
wait a second, what are you doing? You know? And I thought that was such clever and poetic writing right there that they would
Yeah.
write an episode like, if you lie, you're going to make people sick. Right now, lies are killing the world. And
Yeah,
it's
that's for
making
sure.
people sick and it's toxic.
Yeah.
And so there were some really profound things written in there. You
Yeah.
know, there's like a lot of elements. Like I actually have to go back and, watch it again because, you know, I don't know. I haven't watched it since it aired.
Yeah. Maybe now's the time for a rewatch.
Yeah, maybe it is,
Um,
but I
Yeah, and just the fact that they had people rooting for a love story involving Dr. Teeth, I don't think we ever could have anticipated that.
were
But
they rooting for us?
yeah, sure.
So glad. Well, I love that I think it's important. I thought that was important. That's funny that that was the love stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we ever would have even thought about Dr. Teeth having a romantic interest at all. But yeah, it was just it all worked.
They're such a great couple.
Yeah.
They really
It,
are.
it,
Can I tell you about my fantasy of their spinoff or not even?
yeah, so that's one thing we like to do on this podcast is talk about, what could be a future use for the character that we're talking about on this episode. So yeah, you had some thoughts about Penny.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I had some ideas for her product that I wish that if they revisited, first of all, of course, she should have compression socks, right? That's
That's a no-brainer. Yeah.
definitely be a Penny Waxman like hot sauce, that they should have
Absolutely,
a
yes.
contest. In fact, I think Cameron Garrity, he sent me a hot sauce thing for Penny Waxman. He did a fan art. I have to look for it. Cam, forgive me for not knowing what it is, but I think people should name what the hot sauce is for Penny.
Oh, okay.
I think there should be a penny bank, right? A piggy bank, penny bank, where they put in
Sure.
her cleavage and she just goes, you know,
Like the infamous Miss Piggy Bank from the 70s
yeah.
where you have you seen this where you put the coins in her
Yeah,
cleavage?
that's what Penny
Yeah.
needs.
But Penny, yeah.
Yeah, Penny should
Perfect.
do that. And then, but for me, what I have this dream of doing, and I think it would be so fun and easy. I have a couple dreams for her, but I feel like Dr. Teeth and Penny should have a podcast where they give couples advice or at least relationship advice. And it's like a penny for my thoughts. And then,
Yeah.
and her catchphrase, it's none of my business, but here's what I think.
There you go.
And that people would call in and they would just sit there and give advice. And I think you could have a split screen that you could have some really famous call-ins, or you can.
Oh, that's a thought.
Right?
Yeah.
So it could be either be a Muppet, it could be a person, it could be a dog, like that.
Right. It could be a combination of, yeah, of Muppet characters calling in or celebrities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
And
is
it could
great.
be like, or what's cooking with Penny and Dr. Teeth, where we do, reviews of restaurants, or
Hmm.
we can have a travel show, right? So maybe they finally do.
She likes to travel.
You know
Yeah.
I do. So maybe they do get to do like a travel show where they walk in and they have their own travel log. So I just feel like there's something between those two characters.
Yeah.
I also feel like that she is still an agent, and she finds talent and stuff. I thought, I don't know, this will never happen, that she could put book acts for the new Muppet Show, like
I mean, yeah, I do think,
the footnotes. You gotta hire the footnotes. Like, what are you paying? Oh, they're not getting paid. I just get a year's pedicure for free, you know. But I don't. I think that's old school. I don't know if she'll ever show up there. But that was all.
I don't know, but it would be fun because we've only seen her interact with the Mayhem characters. So yeah, it would be so much fun to see what's the dynamic between Penny and Kermit, you know? It's like, yeah, it would be so much fun to see that.
That would be such a dream come true. I don't know if
Yeah.
that'll ever happen. And then the other thing in terms of a travel show, what I thought would be really great is that, I love me a Disney cruise, right? I
Oh
thought
yeah.
because Penny is freestanding, and I improvise, that I could be on the cruise and I could open like, hey, how you doing, everybody? That they could be on a cruise. And I was like, well, maybe,
Yeah.
Dr. Teeth and Penny could go on a Disney cruise,
Oh, that would be cool.
right? So we can do,
Yeah.
Portugal, this is what I got in the thing. And so that would be kind of fun. So they can, like, if you want to keep at Disney resorts, this is a total
Right.
agenda on my
They
part. You
yeah.
can go on these things, but
They could introduce the entertainment. Right, and you would
good.
get a free cruise out of it.
Yeah, but
Just a
I mean,
side
so we could
benefit.
actually do those kind of fun things and we could do that. But I think because I also love, you have to be careful too with improv. I know Disney gets really scared about those
Uh,
things. But, I'm really good about having worked, at Disney World in the Adventures Club and my shows and everything. I'm pretty sensitive to, being able to read an audience a little harder when you can't see the audience. That would be tricky, but
oh yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
But so that's what I think would be fun is just her still, you know, being involved in finding talent, but her and Dr. Teeth just make me laugh together. So yeah,
Yeah.
what's cooking? What's none of my business. Here's what I think, or I'll travel log, or any of those things.
Yeah, a penny for your thoughts. Yeah, so many possibilities. And I think, yeah, a live audience setting, I feel like, especially with your performing skills, I think a live audience would respond really well to Penny.
Yeah, I'm a
So,
good
yeah.
opener. I'm master of ceremonies for whatever these things. What do you think? I wasn't going to come out here? What's going on, everybody? And she could just be audience warm up.
There you go. Wow.
So,
So many possibilities.
yeah.
That's kind of all I have, but is there anything else you have or any other specific memories maybe about memorable Penny moments on the show or
Yeah, she was just like, I think for me, it was a challenge because I was like this most of the time. I was insulated in her stomach, and
inside?
I couldn't come out and play. And I think a lot of the things with like, and I remember Carol would talk about that when he's in the garbage can or where you're in the bird, that you don't get to, you hear people, but you can't really necessarily be part of it. So Penny was always had this huge barrier between her and people. But I have to say that the Muppet Workshop were my champions, and I love them so much because they were my team. They were always checking on me. They were always holding me accountable. You know, the assist that I had be like, and everybody, I just felt super grateful because I felt their support. And then all the women on set, it was really exciting to see how, like, their kindness and, you know, the gifts and stuff that they would say, thank you for being a strong woman. You know, that was really, that meant a lot, especially during that time, you know?
Right.
I wish he could have gone into Congress and say, you want a piece of me? You want to talk to me about this? You know, she would have walked in there and just scared everybody.
Penny for president.
Yes, I know.
All right.
I know. The backpack. Do you want me to tell that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. So on the end of the backpack, you know, I had the backpack on. And then later, you know, once I made it through, you know, they made me my own backpack, you know, so I didn't have to wear bills because it was really hard to do it because it wasn't fitted to my body shape, you know. Bill and I are two different body types. So then they had mine, and then they had the pole up, and they would have me stand in for scenes. And for eyeline, you know, I was like, oh, well, let me just put a tennis ball so Lily or, you know, whoever wanted to have a scene with me could talk to that. Russ made this amazing fabricated perfect penny head. We called her Min Pin.
So this is a miniature
penny
head. Yeah.
Yeah, it is it's the very first fan art. And they would
before anyone had even seen the show. This is it surprised me, and I was like so blown away. And then he gave it to me at the end of the show, and I'm super grateful for it. All right. Well, Leslie, thank you so much for joining me to talk about Penny Waxman. This has been great.
Thank you for including her. She's my fave. She's my fave.
Yeah. And is there anything you'd like to plug before we close out?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, most of my work is like, you know, well, Benny would like me to bring up that he is our new rescue.
And there's Benny.
That we got. Okay, thank you, Benny. Benny would like to plug Home for Good Dogs, which is where we got him as the rescue. And most of the stuff I'm doing nowadays is through Humor with a Heart. We, my creative partner, Jamie Don Moyer, and I have a community impact company that we go everywhere and we help communities navigate life creatively. But we also do, like, I perform in schools, we do workshops, we talk, we do outreach, we basically teach, you know, help people to tell their stories through art, you know, whether it's writing or cartooning or puppetry and stuff like that. So I guess the best way to find me these days is if you follow Humor with a Heart. I mean, I have Lolly Lard Pop still, but and Humor with a Heart, I will say most of our posts are just what we do community outreach wise, and we don't post a lot because a lot of the populations that we work with, there's like privacy issues because we go to some dark places to bring some bright light, you know. So I think that's the best place to find me.
Okay. Yeah, Humor with a Heart. You're on all the social media.
Yeah, social
platforms.
Media, Facebook. We aren't nonprofit. We inspire rich people and corporations into giving money to nonprofits who then hire us to create content. So, you know, we work with the Dystonia Foundation, the J Fund, Fourth and Gold, you know, all kinds of, you know, Broadway Inspirational Voices. So it's a fun, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's all I have to plug right now. And if I am doing something, you'll know about that through Humor with a Heart.
Excellent. Yeah, that's all for a great cause. And thanks for being here. And thanks to Penny Waxman at Waxtown Records as well.
Yes, thank you.
70 Years, 70 Muppets, More Muppets Please is a Muppet fan podcast presented by ToughPigs.com. hosted by a myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Joe Hennis. The Muppets 70 logo is used with permission by the Muppet Studio, with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reifschneider, and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow toughpigs.com on all social media platforms, and you can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or by buying merchandise at tpublic.com/toughpigs.